Okay guys, alrighty, here we go. Number 7, the final in the 7 key principles. And this one's sits at the top of one of my lists, gratitude. Well, they all do, but this one in particular has a lot of deep meaning. I've got quite a lot of stuff here, and I'd like to go through just the basics of how do we get in touch with that gratitude out of the 7 keys, to stitch gratitude into our vocabulary and into our communication. I've got up here, it's a feeling state. It's not an intellectual thing where you can just, oh well, yeah, I have gratitude. Yeah, but do you, from a place of honesty and sincerity in your heart, do you genuinely feel grateful? Do you have gratitude for all scenarios that are coming at you from, worldly events and friendships and communication and feedback and relationships? Do you have gratitude? Can you genuinely feel gratitude for that? And I've got here, it's a feeling state, and we can't do it intellectually, because if we do a bypass. Bypass meaning nothing real's happening. But if it comes from a feeling state, then the miracle is going to be invoked. It'll come through and it'll leave you in one of those aha moments where it affects you. Emotionally, it affects you. So when we extend gratitude, it comes straight back through that miraculous exchange. So just be mindful that if it's the intellect doing the gratitude, having that sense of gratefulness, then in essence nothing's happening. It's not hitting God's radar, is really what I'm saying. So, a lot of things, and I put this here, and I've mentioned it on other previous videos, it's everything in the world's not happening to us, it's happening by us. So back to a state of gratitude, if we can really embrace that into our life, and we can see it's not happening to us, it's happening by us. So initially, it's our projection. From cause and effect standpoint, it comes from this. It's not happening to us, it's happening by us. Now, a lot of people say, well, how can I have gratitude when someone's pissing me off? Well, from a cause and effect standpoint, if they've come into your life and you've created a beautiful scenario of exchanging communication with someone, and they're triggering you, that's your doing. That message is essentially there for you because you set up that whole chain of events that created that trigger. So back to my question, are you grateful for them to have come to you, to mirror back to you what you've in fact set up as a message for yourself? So people who trigger you, ego tells you that you're unfairly treated, and that was uncalled for, and it's unfair, and it's mean, and it's cruel, and how dare they, and I don't deserve that. That's BS. If it's not happening to you, it's happening by you, then you set that up. You set that up, and it's come back, and it's mirroring back to you. And they've come as a divine messenger to message that back to you. Are you grateful for that? So in other words, do you want to be right? And do you want to prove that you're a victim? Or do you want to take accountability for all of this? It's not happening to me, it's happening by me. And I get it now, and I thank them, and I see the whole thing playing out, and now I have a space of gratitude for that to come in. Not intellectually, but from a feeling standpoint, genuinely. So, I know it's a challenge. I'm not saying it's not a challenge. I've been through scenarios like this, and I'm like, oh, are you shitting me? Are you really for real? What you're saying, Jesus in the Course, are you really saying that I have to take accountability that this is my doing? I created all that. I set up that scenario. It's happening by me. Triggers gratitude. Okay, all right. So then I have to stop, pull up, get out, Jump off the bus, get off the platform, go and sit quietly in a park somewhere and just contemplate, holy crap, I've got to take accountability for this. I want to get back to a place of gratitude. That's a biggie. But you can see now why gratitude is it plays such a huge role in this whole 7 key principles. Triggered. Are you triggered? Yes. Do you understand it's happening? It's not happening to you, it's happening by you? Yes. Do you understand what a trigger means? Yes. Are you feeling grateful? Well, no, not yet. but I'm working on it. So just get in touch with that. It's not something that you're gonna, conquer overnight, but just work at it. Just keep exercising that muscle in this space of gratitude and gratefulness. And I said way earlier in the overview, this gratitude pins to all the 7 key principles. Do we have gratitude for our willingness? Do we have gratitude to look at our willingness and have a look at all this? It's not happening to me, it's happening by me. Do I have gratitude for that willingness to go there and explore all that? Do I have gratitude to take accountability for all this? Do I have gratitude to enter conversations and not defend, justify or substantiate? Do I have gratitude just to let it go? I'm sorry, I was wrong, forgive me. Do I have gratitude to go to that place of defenselessness and vulnerability? Because ultimately that's where our safety lies. So just let it go. Just drop the defense. Am I okay with that? Not initially, but we will get to that place where we surrender and let go, and then we can drop into gratitude can take over. Am I okay to have gratitude around turning up at 100%, being radically self-honest about all things that come at me because it's happening by me? So the radical self-honesty relates directly, as we said in the other thing around trust, they're tied together. Honesty and trust are tied together. Can I drop back into gratitude about that? It's a biggie. Trust. Gratitude, my dear friends, is something that underpins all of these. Do I have gratitude for willingness, gratitude for accountability, gratitude to be defenseless, gratitude for my vulnerability, gratitude for my radical self-honest? Am I grateful to stop controlling and let go of the wheel, stop manipulating life and trust the process? Do I have genuine gratitude for that? Stop manipulating and controlling my life, the world, because it's happening by me. It's not happening to me. You don't need to defend. You don't need to manipulate. Can you feel into how all of that ties together? It's pretty big. It's huge. It's the fabric that keeps you sane, absolutely sane, as opposed to complete insanity. Here's another good one that comes to us all the time. Everyone who is meant to meet will meet. Do we have gratitude and trust that they have been divinely sent to us? Be mindful and be present. Do we stop when we meet somebody? Do we stop and have mindful presence around, is this person a divine messenger that's come to me, by me, to give me a slap or wake me up or give me a reality check? Do we have gratitude for that? Do we stop and think about, is this a divine messenger that I have set up in some previous life script thing that's come to me to help me awaken from the dream? Am I lucidly present to accept and receive their invite to come into this relationship and become part of my communication? Do I meet him there? Just be mindfully present when people come into your space to think, are they a divine messenger in all of this? Because if it's not happening to me and it's happening by me, then they are. And Jesus says in the Course, everyone who's meant to meet will meet. So who sent him? Where's the miracle behind it? Embrace it and create some space around that invite. And then it's easy to fall into gratitude. Don't think you're a victim and they come to, punish you or push your buttons or send you into this space of being triggered. That's not why they're there. Gratitude. Around all of this, there's going to come a time where we unlearn and deconstruct and undo the ego relative to all the things that are going on in our life, because as we mentioned in the video on trust, we have to go through the 6 stages of development of trust. And the first one's undoing. So in order for us, are we resisting in that breakdown, in that undoing process, are we resisting having a breakdown in order to have a breakthrough? The ego wants to pause and resist that at all costs. Doesn't want to have a breakdown to have a breakthrough. It thinks, you're losing it and you're going to, it's like laying on the ground and showing your belly skin and somebody's going to come along and give you a boot in the ribs. No. In that space of vulnerability and defenselessness, it is your safety. And having a breakdown and a breakthrough is part of the unlearning, the undoing. And I call all that the deconstructing of the personal identity self, the ego. Are you okay to go into a space of being completely deconstructed? Do you have gratefulness? Do you have gratitude around being deconstructed and losing the personal ego identity? That's a big ask. But ultimately, the whole deconstructing the false self goes straight into what he quotes up here in the Manual for Teachers. And in the Manual for Teachers, in the FIP version, page 16, under the heading of Opal Mindfulness, paragraph 3, this is what he's written. It is the function of God's teacher to bring true learning to the world. Properly speaking, it is unlearning that they bring, for that is true learning in the world. Unlearning. So that means you've got to deconstruct the false self. You've got to unlearn all the things that you've learned. Not ego learning. Unlearn everything we were taught. Are we willing and are we grateful to go through a process of unlearning? Unlearning is this, my friends. It is to have a breakdown and a breakthrough, to be deconstructed. Do we have gratitude? Can we find gratitude to go to that place of, okay, hands off the wheel, stop controlling, stop manipulating. I want to unlearn. I'm at 100% willing. I'm 100% accountable. I know it's not happening to me, it's happening by me. I want to reverse the whole entire enchilada. Why would he say that if it didn't bear huge relevance to this deconstruction? Undoing the ego results in breakdowns in order to have breakthroughs. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. It all ties together. Gratitude, guys, gratitude is not about building a better human world. Gratitude is not about a bigger house or faster cars or more vacations. Gratitude is about undoing what we've learned about ego values and false idols in the world. It's about relinquishment. And when we get to that place, can we find gratitude to morph us from those two worlds, only one's real? Letting go of all the idols. All of this is stipulating one thing, and that is that we have to let go of that which we thought was real, which is now in our awareness is just all an illusion, and it's all stitched together with idols that keeps it rotating, but all of it's an illusion. So if that's false, an illusion, and so this one here that's real, these 7 key principles, they help you move across and stay there and remain sane in the process. That's how powerful these are. So why wouldn't we give absolute 100% priority to integrating these into our world and letting go of all the triggers and all the ill feelings and blah, 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 blah. You know, not wanting to be deconstructed is just showing that, you know, there's an element of us being control freaks. We need to manipulate life to suit the ego's self, the false idols in the world. There's very little trust. If we control everything and we manipulate everything, it's a direct reflection that there's no trust. Very little honesty in that segment of perception. We're very defensive and we're selfish. So why the heck, I ask the question, why would you want to stay there? As opposed to all of those other beautiful attributes that are coming out of all these videos, from defenselessness all the way through to gratitude. Those 7 keys exhibit and produce miracles in every aspect and brings into the fold of this amazing, it just blows my mind. Why resist? So, honestly, I don't know what else I can put in there, because it's sort of like, all of this brings us to a resonance place of it's here and it's now, and that's what's real. All those projections and all those false values and all this manipulating and controlling and substantiating, justifying and defending is all to keep us away from what is true. So why wouldn't we run towards the truth and drop all that false belief? So guys, I'm going to wrap this up in saying that the 7 keys have been rolled out, and no doubt there's going to be quite a few of you guys listen to these videos that say, so, okay, I've watched all 7. I want to produce some results from all of this in my life, in the world. How do I bring it into play in my language and in my interactions with everybody? Well, we've touched briefly on that through each of the 7 videos, but I think it'd be important on my next video to talk about some life examples. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time to try and summarize and put that together, but in the meantime, I encourage you to, as a checkpoint, go back over the 7 key principles and have a look at which ones, with regards to, where on the barometer are you? Anything that triggers you and you feel resistance, go and put a number on it, 1 and 10, 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, the most willing, the most adapt, and 1 or 2 or 3 being the least that you're feeling comfortable or in that space. So go and have a look at the ones where you had the least and just feel into what is it in there for you that gives that resistance, where you're not comfortable. Because ego doesn't want you to have any breakthroughs with any of these, so it'll resist that to the max. So just sit and feel into which one, and they're the ones, that's your homework, is to go and work on those. Have a look at where the weak spots are, your blind spots. They're the ones we need to work with. That's where the miracle's going to come through. So I just encourage you to do some reflection over these 7 key principles and sit still for a bit and do some check-ins, do some self-inquiry, do some self-evaluation around where you sit with all of that. Anyway, I want to thank you for your patience to go through each of these 7 keys with me and unpack it and explore it, and also too, just to see, leave some comments in the comment section down below in the description box of your journey as you've gone through each of these 7 keys. If accountability was a challenge for you, or you got some questions, drop it in the comment section down there, and let's work on it together. So anyway, thanks guys, appreciate you being on the journey, and I trust you got a ton of stuff out of all of this. Ciao.